Police emergency. What's the location of your emergency?
My friend, he's been stabbed in the neck. Please, we need to come quick.
Okay, can you tell me where you are?
Please, we need help. He's gonna die. The park, we're in the park. I don't know the name. It's near Academy. Please send help. He's been stabbed in the neck. There's so much blood.
When you get stabbed, the first thing that happens is it hurts a lot. And I don't think people are prepared for how much it actually hurts to be stabbed.
And it's not only the pain, it's also the physiological effects. So what's going to happen to your heart rate, what's going to happen to your blood pressure, what's going to happen to your respiratory rate, what's going to happen to your brain.
And then your body, especially if you lose blood, your body starts to shut down. You become very cold and clammy, your heart races, and you feel dizzy and faint and sick all at the same time.
I am going to die, am I going to die? And, to be honest, in quite a few cases, it could be a distinct possibility.
Oh, okay. You say he's been stabbed in the neck. Have you got anything like a jumper or a jacket that
I've got a
you
hoodie
can
I
apply
can
pressure
use.
to the wound?
I've got a hoodie I can use.
Okay.
There's so much blood.
Okay. If you just put the hoodie onto the wound and apply pressure to the wound, we're going to get an ambulance there to you too. Okay.
Please just come quick.
Things that kill you are being stabbed in a major blood vessel.
It could be minutes potentially if the bleed is severe enough and no pressure is applied to try and stop that bleeding. The patient might be dead before we get there.
I would imagine the most unpleasant thing you can imagine is to die on a roadside or somewhere away from your family on your own without any to support you to die in the most horrible circumstances. When you get stabbed and make it to hospital alive, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to survive your injuries. I've had patients who've been stabbed in the liver, for instance, who have died several days later from overwhelming blood loss and damage to their liver.
The worst stabbing job that I've ever been to is probably, there have been 2 of them, and they involved stabbings young men to the chest, and they were in a cardiac arrest, which means they were stopped breathing and they had no heartbeat. So what we had to do is that we had to basically cut open their chest. So we don't give you any pain relief, we will just go in as quickly as we can because we only have a certain time frame, and for us that's 10 minutes. It's very quick, it's very rough, it's not as neat as a surgeon would do it because we're using shears, we're not taking our time, we're cutting through anything we can get cutting through in order to get access to that chest. It's at the side of the road potentially, it might be in your front living room, it might be in a garden, it might be on a street somewhere, it might be in an ambulance. It's not the ideal situation, potentially it might be dirty, you might get infections. It's not a brilliant place for us to be doing that, but it's last chance saloon.
It could be a small knife or a big knife. It's where it goes is important. And a very devastating injury you can get when you're stabbed in the tummy is one that injures the bowel. And the reason that's a problem is we can't usually fix those holes straight away. We have to bring out a bag of your bowel onto the surface of your tummy. So instead of opening your bowels, you poo into a bag. Sometimes people may be able to see it, people might be able to smell it, and there's a bulge over the clothing as well. And that's something you may have for the rest of your life.
If you carry a knife, then you have that intention to use that knife. Now, if you're stabbed first and your stab wound is severe enough, you actually aren't going to get a chance to retaliate back with the knife that you're carrying because it's too late. So don't put yourself, your family, your friends, and I've seen it, through these horrendous procedures and things that we have to do pre-hospitally and in hospital, just because you want to carry a knife. It's just not worth it.
I've seen just about every injury you can imagine from stabbing, through people who've become paralysed from being stabbed through the back and been confined to a wheelchair afterwards, people who've been stabbed in the neck and they've had a stroke afterwards, people who've had arms and legs chopped off with knives and that's caused them lifelong disability. And at the time, it seems like such a minor thing, some stab wounds, but they can have a major impact on a patient's life. Any knife is bad, and even a knife an inch or 2 long can do enough damage to change your life forever.